Hello, boxing fans around the world. Welcome to another episode of The Scoop featuring the champ, Bola Ray, on Talkin Fight, where we explore all aspects of boxing legends this week. And among those is one that I'm sure you're pretty proud to be speaking of this evening. He is incredibly legendary in the field of boxing, without a doubt.
Yeah. Today I'm talking about, actually, I'm talking about a fighter
Huh?
that that has done something that I didn't know was possible, which was that he reversed his Parkinson's disease. I didn't know that it was possible to reverse your Parkinson's disease, but he did it being a coach of boxing.
Wow.
Okay, you're equally mystified as I. He attributes being a boxing coach as the magic elixir to reversing his Parkinson's disease. Irony would have it, I would like to call, or I do call, irony Satan's comedy network. But irony would have it that it was, or he thought it was boxing that caused his Parkinson's disease.
Hmm.
And it's actually now reversed it. He's also the second person I've ever heard of attributing Parkinson's, being afflicted with Parkinson's, to boxing, other than the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
Right.
Um, any neurologist will tell you today that that's just not how Parkinson's is contrived. You, yeah, because there's been thousands upon thousands of fighters over the years, and again, I've heard of two. So,
True.
he claims that even though he had a successful amateur career and even a pretty decent professional career, he had over 300 street fights. He was just a little bit of a nut. In one of them, he makes a claim that he actually bit the eyeball out of a socket of another human being.
Wow.
He claims it was in self-defense. Like, I don't know if I would have it in me, but okay. Known and referred to by arguably the best fighter in the history of the sport as master is none other than, well, my name is Bola Raymond Olubuwale, and this is The Scoop. Born March 5th, 1960, in Dedham, Massachusetts, was none other than Freddie Steven Roach. Born to a father, Paul Roach, who was a former fighter that groomed him and his two younger brothers, Joey and Pepper, to be fighters somewhat like him. Living vicariously through them, he wanted them to be tough fighters. Yeah, again, somewhat like him. Freddie started boxing at the age of 6 and had his first tournament by the age of 8. Paul was really hard on his boys in that he would beat them. He would beat the one that chose not to fight as opposed to the one that did. Paul was an exciting fighter in his own right who finished his career with a record of 36 wins with 6 losses and 12 the way of stoppages. But in his 6 losses, he was only stopped once. Now, a big puncher, he wasn't. But he was a local crowd favorite. He was nothing to write home to mom about, in that he never fought anybody notable, nor did he ever fight for anything called a title. But what he was definitely entertaining, in that he was one of those fighters that would take a punch to give a better punch. Yay. Freddie adopted the same style and attributed what he calls trauma-induced Parkinson's to this style. In all my years of the sport, other than Ali, I don't know anybody else that made the claim that they were afflicted by Parkinson's due to boxing. But sure, this was one of the contributing factors to Freddie actually retiring from his professional career as an athlete. Post this decision, Freddie worked odd and end jobs in Las Vegas. He was a telemarketer. He was even a busboy. And then Eddie Futch, the legendary Eddie Futch, who actually was Freddie's coach, gave him a new lifeline and offered him an opportunity to be an assistant coach under Eddie's tutelage for free, of which Freddie took graciously. Now, after doing this for 5 years, he proved to be a great fit for the job. He sustained a great deal of success, to the point where in 1991, Mickey Rourke returned to the boxing midway through his acting career and hired Freddie Roach to train him in Hollywood, California. In 1995, when reality kicked in and Rourke decided that, well, I need to quit boxing because he wasn't that good. He gave all the gym equipment to Roach, and that equipment can still be found in the Wild Card Gym on Vine Street, today. Owning this gym while working alongside of his brother Pepper has been one of the most successful duos that they've cultivated so many world champions. A few that need to be mentioned are the likes of James Toney, Oscar De La Hoya, Virgil Hill, Chris Eubanks, Amir Khan, but none more noteworthy than the Senator, Manny Pacquiao. He took this wild, aggressive 2-division world champion and cleaned up his game, and voila. An 8-division world champion with a career that spans over 4 decades. And still going.
Right.
Yeah. When Freddie trains fighters, not only does he look after them professionally, but they become family members to him. It is an extended family and a sense of honor that Freddie is very protective of. So when Roach was training Oscar De La Hoya, he was told by Oscar that he was irreplaceable, that Oscar would never fight without him again. For Roach, it was a kind of bond that was very important to him. Now, so it really hurt him when Oscar dumped him after losing to Floyd Mayweather. He felt that the extended family concept had been abused. And for a man who comes from such a turbulent upbringing, this was important. So, this wasn't the case with Manny, though. They had a father son relationship that Freddie desperately needed and wanted. The scenario proved most helpful when Oscar had to face off against Manny, which ended up in being Oscar's last fight, at least to date. There's talk of him coming back, but let's see how that manifests. Shall we?
Right.
Yeah. The knowledge that he had accumulated while being Oscar's trainer and somewhat father figure, what have you, um, was used against him, which resulted in Manny not just getting a W, but also, for the second time in Oscar's illustrious career, Oscar getting stopped. Now, Freddie's relationship with Manny was not without its own trials and tribulations. Um, Getting ready for the Jeff Horn fight, Freddie told Manny that he needs to make a decision as to whether or not he wants to be a world champion boxer or a senator in his homeland of the Philippines. Um, Roach recalls that when they were in Australia, getting ready for this fight, there were days when they would train at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but then sometimes there were days when they would train at midnight. And that was all due to Manny's schedule as a senator. Sometimes being a senator, especially because he was a senator in the Philippines, time, all that business, would cause him to work exorbitantly long hours as a senator, only to then come back and train. And like I said, sometimes at midnight. Freddie didn't get called for Manny's subsequent fight after this suggestion. The decision that that decision to not bring Freddie into camp and work his corner for the next fight really crushed Freddie, at least at first. And then after some reflection, he realized that they had a really good run, and that he really had nothing to be upset with Manny for. They were together for over 15 years, and with an incredibly successful resume. Look at the track record. That duo was pretty much second to none, and especially when it comes to the amount of time they were together. Seldomly do you find that. Freddie, for the first time ever, pushed his hand in his pocket and paid pay-per-view to watch Manny's fight, of which he was impressed with the fight. He thought Manny did well. He actually reached out to Manny and congratulated him on a well-fought fight and pretty much cleared the air with him. At which point in time, Manny explained that his sole reason for not bringing him into camp and including him in this fight that was coming up was that he had the person that was in his corner was a long time, not just family friend, but friend of his inner circle who was coaching. And he wasn't sure. Actually, he doesn't think that the day will come when he would ever get the opportunity to be in the corner, let alone in the corner of a winning world title fight. So he gave him that one opportunity to be in the corner. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that could have been handled so much better. You could have just told the man, this is just a one-off, as opposed to leaving him alone in the dark, but so be it. With that out of the way, Freddie and Manny resumed their path through history. And they've been together ever since. Now, something remarkable has happened to Freddie that I don't even know if science can explain yet. But like I said, Freddie was diagnosed with Parkinson's in his 20s. And actually, it was because of his Parkinson's that he actually retired. Hence, he was talking about how it was trauma-induced Parkinson's or something like that. But in recent years, he has noticed not just a decline in the shaking of his hands, but an absolute stop. Complete stop. He went to the doctor. His physician did a full physical and noted that, yeah, he thinks that he's actually reversed his Parkinson's. This is a big thing now. I still don't know the mechanics behind it, but there's a group that are pushing people with Parkinson's to try boxing. You heard me right. People with Parkinson's doing boxing, and this is supposed to not just slow down the degradation of the disease, but actually might even cure it, like Freddie Roach. This is nothing shy of ironic, seeing how both him and Ali were known, well, at least that's what the media put out, that they got their Parkinson's from boxing, from trauma induced in boxing. Again, irony, the devil's comedy network. With that being said, Freddie is actually working with Reverend Jesse Jackson, who is who's afflicted with Parkinson's. That I didn't know. He's actually teaching him boxing, getting him to do boxing workouts and what have you. It has something to do with like the coordination and the contact with the coordination that force feeds I don't know, but again, Jesse Jackson is seeing success. His Parkinson's, well, the degradation is actually reducing. They're onto something, all because of boxing. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? This is absolutely amazing, and I really look forward to actually hearing exactly how this plays out. So, yeah, a little interesting tidbit. Anyways, with that being said, that is my episode. If you like this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. It's your boy Bola, and that's the scoop.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
I had no idea. Mind blown. Yeah, that's like Poof.
Parkinson's
Yeah.
being reversed because of boxing.
Wow. Yeah, the other famous individual who has Parkinson's who'd like to hear this, I'm sure, is Michael J. Fox.
Okay, so there's unfortunately hundreds of thousands of people who have Parkinson's.
Right.
How many took trauma to the head? Michael J. Fox, to my knowledge, never did.
Doubt it.
Reverend Jesse Jackson never did. So, what is it?
Yeah, that's solid, man. Thanks very much, Ray. Appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Cheers.